Oh, there we go. Now we got some volume. Hey there, everybody. Chris Franks with Texas West Capital. It is just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Tuesday, November. Oh, what is it? November 8th already. Man, we're already a week plus into the month, guys. Anyway, 2022 coming at you live here from just north of Houston, Texas. Always glad to have you guys checking in. And man, how y'all holding up? Y'all doing all right? We've had a lot of damn nonsense going on in crypto. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I walk around and go, man, am I the only adult in the room? A lot of that nonsense between, CZ and Sam there seemed to be, I don't know, man. It just reminds me of this whole, grade school playground nonsense. It's so stupid. And I don't know. I don't know who's solvent, who's not, who's got money, who doesn't in there. But I don't know. Things just seem kind of suspect the way CZ went about this. I don't know. But I'm not trying to say either one is good or bad or otherwise. I think the big problem with crypto is you guys tend to evangelize people. Think about it. Elon, Saylor, CZ, SBF. I mean, people in general in crypto, they find some hero, right? That's the word that Scott used this morning on his podcast, right? You tend to evangelize them, and it's silliness, guys. It's this extension of politics, right? I mean, it's so dumb. At the end of the day, none of these people care. I mean, really, not like you think they do about you, right? Politicians care about being reelected. That's all they care about. These big players, in crypto, honestly, at the end of the day, they don't care about you. They care about them. Which not necessarily a bad thing, but it is what it is, right? So stop evangelizing them. Stop idolizing them. It's going to set you guys up to really kind of get hurt. FTX this morning, or FTT this morning, up. I posted some screenshots there, some charts. Up, almost 50% this morning in 15 minutes. Huge rally up. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a big rally up. I didn't get as low as I wanted there. It's Fibbo Swanee. I don't know if he's checking in yet here, or if he's checking in today, but he beat me on the getting in on that entry there. I think he got in about $100 lower than me, or $150 lower than me. Good times, right? Still a lot of stuff to go on, still a lot of stuff to do, but everybody gets so hung up on these 15-second time frames, 15-minute time frames that they don't zoom out, right? I mean, even FTT, I don't see any reason why it can't potentially fall further overall. We'll pull up the chart here today, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's got 5 waves up from its inception, right, up to its all-time high. I mean, we're just, for all intents and purposes, we're just pulling back at the moment, guys. Everybody's like, oh, it's the end of the world, because everybody's all shell-shocked from Celsius and Three Arrows Capital and Voyager and all that other nonsense, right? So I mean, it is what it is. We are, ruled by emotion more or less because we're human beings. But the thing you need to be paying attention to here is that your emotions are running wild. It's never helpful to trade with emotions, guys. Okay, that's just, it's going to guarantee you're going to lose money in the end of the day. You may be all right one time or twice, but that's the thing that keeps you going. It's like, oh man, I lost money. Oh man, I think I'm going to give up. And then all of a sudden you win. You're like, oh, woo, I'm back, right? And I lost money. And it just like resets this whole, this positivity in you about your ability to succeed, right? So, you've got to maintain your emotional health, guys. You've got to pay attention to where you are being emotionally. And guess what? I'm going to say it like I say it all the time, guys. It's not just in trading. It's in life. It's in life. Your idiot emotions, your over-emotional self tends to get you into a lot more trouble than it ever gets you out of. Period. That's it, guys. Full stop. It's what it is. And you can sit here and you can try and argue all you want all day long. Doesn't make it any less incorrect. Or any less correct, right? Doesn't make what you're saying any different, right? What I'm trying to say, guys, is we tend to get hung up emotionally in life about just like anything, everything. The problem is when you bring that over to trading, and you will bring it over to trading, because we are, again, emotional social creatures, right? You're going to bring it over to trading, and that's going to ruin you as a trader. So you have to absolutely notice when it's happening. You have to have systems in place that take the emotion out of it. You say, listen, here are my rules for my system. I'm going to follow rules. If you don't follow rules, guys, see, this is the thing. A lot of times when you go to somebody to teach you how to trade, right, or teach you how to do something, right, you're always like, oh, well, is there a money-back guarantee? Well, the problem with the money-back guarantee is it should be if the system doesn't actually work, right? The problem is, as I've told you, I've spent a lot of money over the years on all these systems you guys see out there, and pretty much all of them seem to work. It's the emotional person that's trying to apply them that's not following through correctly that makes it not work, right? So how do you, as somebody, if you're somebody that offers that kind of service, I mean, how do you give a money-back guarantee, right? I mean, because what? You give them money back because you taught them how to do it and then they didn't follow the rules? They didn't follow and do it correctly and they're wrong? You see what I'm saying? So you guys kind of set yourself up to lose, right? Don't set yourself up to lose. Not in trading, not in life. Set yourself up to win. That starts with your mind. It's all mindset. I'm telling you right now, guys, it starts in your head. Starts and ends in your head. Okay? Let me see here. Who's here already? I feel like I'm lecturing you guys this morning. I'm trying to. Guys, as always, man, I'm just trying to get you to see that thing. That one thing that will change your life. Not just as a trader, but your life. It's the same thing. Both sides, wherever you're looking, it's the same thing. And if it clicks, you've got so much potential ahead of you. So much possibility ahead of you. But as long as you continue to refuse to allow that to click, as long as you continue to fight it, you're never going to get to the point that you want to be in any point in life. I'm telling you guys, I was there when I was younger. I know. I had to go through it myself. That's why I can talk to you about it. I know. I've been there. Mark, what's up, man? If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby, that's right. Such a silly show, man. Driving the Wonder white car there, right? Wonder Bread. Bamboo, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Hank is checking in. What's up, Hank? Tell you Ryder says another boring day of sideways, eh? Well, I don't know. I think it was kind of fun this morning. Made some good money. There's Fibaswani. Yeah, here he is. What's up, man? Andrew Bennett, Data, what's going on, guys? GT, what's up, man? Yeah, we got Fibaswani in here for sure, for sure. Let's see here. Bamboo says it looks like Binance acquiring FTX. I don't know. Is that what they're saying? That would be some crazy stuff, right? Sam steps in and buys all these other companies, and then Binance comes in and buys him, right? Oh, be crazy stuff. Let's see here. Name Mr. Wook, what's up, man? He says it's a dark and windy evening in West Yorkshire. Man, you ought to be down here, man. It's a bright, sunny morning over here. Almost afternoon. Aramis, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Fibaswani, what's $100 between friends? Let me see here. Let me catch up with you guys here. Claudio, what's up, man? GT talking about Dow Jones says it literally rejected the 200 MA like 4 times on the daily this year and then flipped it yesterday and holding. What the heck am I doing holding UVXY waiting for a black swan like an idiot? Hey, man, first thing you have to do to change your behavior is to notice that there's a problem, right? But, this is the same thing that we see often with, with people that get so entrenched in a trend, right? They're like, every chart they'll show you is like, look, it always gets rejected. It always gets rejected. Well, yeah, and it's always going to get rejected until it flips. I mean, if you think about it, it seems so logical, so easy, right? It's like, well, duh. And so, when people use that as a reason why it has to continue going further, you need to stop, guys. If the trend is entrenched for a while, right? So we're talking about like the daily. So on the daily, you've been going in the same direction for 6 months, 8 months, a year, right? And somebody's obviously very bearish, we'll say, right? Because the trend's down, we'll say that. And they keep pointing out to, I don't know, some kind of moving average or something, right? Or some kind of descending resistance, right? And they're like, oh, look, and they mark every time that it's hit it, right? It's been rejected. And that's their thesis for it continuing lower. You got to pay attention to what, not just what they're saying, but really what they aren't saying. But if that is, because most often that is their thesis for it to continue lower, you need to step back and go, okay, somebody is emotionally attached to what's going on. Yes, if it gets rejected, It could head lower, sure. But the fact that it's been rejected all these times for 6 months, 8 months, a year, actually makes it more likely that it's going to break out. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to break out that time, right? But the trend has been entrenched for a while, right? And so the longer the trend is entrenched, every time it comes up to that same opportunity to break out, it's more likely to break out. Does that make sense, guys? That is the simplified look at that, guys. But if people are even more adamantly bearish after a long bit of time, because it, and then they show you, and their reasoning is that it keeps hitting that area and keeps breaking down. Again, it doesn't guarantee it's not going to hit it and break down, but you have to understand the way you have to understand that when they're doing that, it's because there is an emotional side to them that's really pushed out now, that's really kind of entrenched in that as well. Again, guys, remember, everybody herds. $100 million, billion-dollar fund, multi-billion-dollar fund managers, they all herd. Okay? Every once in a while, you'll have somebody kind of pull out a little bit and not herd at the same time or whatever, but generally they herd. But the difference is your retail herds at different places than your larger money guys, right? And gals. So, the goal, guys, to really, really become successful in trading is to start understanding when that emotion is at extremes. Again, that doesn't necessarily, it can be at extremes for a while. So it doesn't mean right away when it's right there, extremes, that it's definitely going to, that it's going to change. The direction's going to change, right? The trend's going to change. But it means that when you're noticing that, you should become much more aware. You shouldn't be so easily like, oh yeah, it's definitely going to continue lower. That's where people get caught. It's the same thing when it goes up. It's got to continue going higher, right? That's where people get caught. They fall into that emotional nonsense, okay? So don't let yourself do that. All right? Big Vape, what's up, man? Let me see here. Who else is here? Melissa, good morning. Let's see here. FTX is sold. Is that what you said, Hank? Let me see here. Andrew says the Dow Jones daily is breaking through long-term downward resistance line. Yeah, I was looking at Dow Jones, man. That Dow Jones has been a little bit more aggressive than the NASDAQ and the S&P. And, the reasoning for that would be that, Dow Jones, as I continue to tell you guys, is more broad-based, right? So NASDAQ is a very strong collection of tech-heavy, right? It's very tech-heavy. S&P is tech-heavy as well, but not quite as much. Not quite. It's a bit off, right? And then you get to the Dow, and the Dow is much more broad-based, right? The blue-chip stocks, much more broad-based, multiple sectors and stuff and whatnot. So, if you see that the NASDAQ is falling heavy, but you see that the Dow is not falling as heavy or even reversed, right? Rising. Well, then what that's telling you is that the tech sector is really sucking wind. But a lot of the other areas are not. And so, it's a great way to kind of watch and look for potential reversals coming on. It's that whole idea of the non-confirmation of indexes, right? We've talked about that a lot of times before. I believe you're talking about your ass, Red, Shawshank Red. Oh, man, you guys are great. By the way, guys, best movie ever made. And if you don't agree, you are wrong. Blazing Saddles. Could not even think about making that movie today. But thank the Lord Mel Brooks did when he did, so we can all join it today. Unless words hurt you, in which case, honestly, guys, there's little hope for you. You got to get beyond words. You got to stop worrying that somebody said something that hurt your feelings, or somebody didn't agree with you, or somebody didn't call you by some pronoun that isn't what you physically are, right? And I'm not trying to start anything here, guys. What I'm trying to say is it is you holding you back. And most of the time it's because you spend all the time complaining and arguing and whining and crying about things that you can't change. You can't change it. I don't care what the law is. If the law says, everybody's got to refer to you by whatever you want to be referred to. You want to walk around and say, hey, I'm a cat. You got to refer to me as a cat. My pronoun is per, right? I mean, if that was the thing, gosh, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. Please don't. I'm just saying to take it even to that extreme, right? Just because the law says that people have to do it doesn't mean people are going to do it. You see what I'm saying? People are going to do whatever they're going to do regardless. You have to stop getting so bent out of shape and worrying about something that you have no control over. Because as long as you're stuck on that, you can't do the things that you want to do to be the person that you want to be. That's in life. Guess what, guys? That comes right over into trading. You're sitting here, people complaining about what the Fed's doing, complaining about what the exchanges are doing, complaining about what... Everybody is complaining. Very few are actually out there and just saying, okay, well, this is the way the situation is. My job is to figure out, how do I make money? You know, I can't go up to the Fed and say, do something else now and have them listen to me, right? I can't do that. There's nobody out there that can do that, right? So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, because I'm getting so many messages about this, is stop worrying about the things that you have no control over. Period. I don't care what your position is. This is not meant for you to argue with me about how you feel about a position. I don't care. It makes no difference in the world to me how you feel about a position, because your feelings don't matter to the world, and it never will. Success does not care about your feelings. If you're hurt, be hurt, but do something. Control the things you can control. If you are trading and you're blaming what's going on with the markets with what the Fed's doing, or what Wall Street's doing, or what crypto whales are doing, or what the little... God, I wish I had a GIF I could pull up here right now of CZ and SBF just kind of going like this at each other, right? Slap fighting, right? If you are spending time doing that rather than saying, okay, well, this is what the situation is, how do I make money in the markets right now, then guess what? You're not going to make money in the markets, guys. I hope I've said that enough time to really kind of get you guys thinking about that at least, okay? Again, nothing I said was a personal opinion about anything other than just to say your personal feelings don't matter. And for a lot of people today, that's hard. That's hard for them to deal with. But your feelings don't matter. The world doesn't care about your feelings. Your job doesn't care about your feelings. Success does not care about your feelings. You are the only one that cares about your feelings. So since everybody else, everything else does not really care about it, that means you have no control over that part, right? You have no control over them caring about it. So if you have no control over them caring about it, water off your back. Who cares? Put your nose down, head down, figure out how to make money. Period. Does that make sense, guys? Tell me that makes sense. Come on, guys. Tell me that makes sense. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Big Fave is saying, yes, Binance acquired a letter, or signed a letter of interest to acquire FTX. I think we'll see. You know, we'll see if that happens, right? Interesting though. But again, you know, whether CZ did it because he really cares about you, which I don't for a second believe, guys. Okay? He's a big businessman. It is business, okay? Or whether he did it because he was trying to cause the collapse of FTX so he could bite and be big dog in charge, right? I don't care what the reason. It doesn't matter. Nothing I think, nothing I do changes anything that he is doing. All I can do is say, okay, well, here's what the charts are saying. How do I turn this into money? And that's exactly what you should be thinking too. Stop all the gossipy nonsense, whining online, guys. It's not going to get you anywhere in life, okay? You like my beard? Bearded lady, is that what you're saying? Let me see here. Let me see. Who's that? Deadly123, what's up, buddy? Good to see you checking in. Fiboswani says the markets do not care about you. They don't care about your family, your feelings, and they particularly don't care about your wallet. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, guys. Andrew, man, I appreciate having you with me, man. Gushy Greg, what's up? All right, guys. So, yeah, you can join us over here at howtotradetowin.com, all right? Not just trading, life lessons all the time, guys. I'm here to make you a better person, guys and gals, okay? But I can't do it alone. Anytime you guys come in here, if you want to join us, I'm more than happy to teach you absolutely everything I can, answer your questions, do all this stuff. But unless, like I said at the beginning, unless you're willing to follow through and take the steps that you have to take, you know, to make these things happen, there's nothing we can do, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? I'm not saying y'all are horses. I'm just saying. All right, guys, let's jump on over here and see what we got going on here. Let's see. Here we go. So, man, look at that big rejection. That was a good buy. Not such a good rejection at the moment, right? So, kind of looking at this, we've still got this great resistance here. You can see that this is the 4-hour. Well oversold here. Stoke RSI, RSI. Try, nearing a breakout of both there. I've got basically 5 up here off the swing low, potentially, right? Because we are above this resistance. We've got 3 down to the, right here beyond the 61.8, almost to the 70.5. We've got this high volume node here. This is this area here that I've been talking about, okay? This is this area, and I said, okay, let me kind of pull this out here. It's off here. So this is the area that I said, listen, really the pivot, the pivot, but really it's this area here. As long as we remain above this area, we should be bullish. If we break down below there, that doesn't automatically disqualify, right? But it does mean that if we're dropping through here, I'm going to become a lot more cautious about upside, okay? Now, the thought is if we're in this area, right, and, we could still drop to the S1, okay? And that would be fine. So what we would look for is a breakdown of the S1, which gets you right into this demand structure over here from the 21st of October, right? And we'd look for a rally and an impulsive breakout above the pivot, and then we want to see it carry above the swing high. If we can get that, we're going up. We're probably getting 29,000, 30,000, okay? But if we continue to break down through the S1, the odds are we're probably going to dip down below the swing low here. Now, again, that doesn't mean we have to go to 11,000 or anything like that. My first thought is if we do break down below here, odds are it's just going to be a wick down below like on the daily or weekly or something and right back up from this almost 6 months ago, this swing low, right? It's going to give us a bullish swing failure pattern, right? And basically, again, that's just a drop below the swing low over here, close back above it so that there's just a wick down through this, okay? Now, again, that's not guaranteed, but the way I'm playing this, the way I'm treating this is that right there. That's the way I'm playing this because I think that's the most likely. Again, the idea, man, I think even if you guys were watching Trip there, Crypto ISO on Scott's show this morning, I kind of tried to glance in there a bit, and I think he was even talking about generating liquidity on a breakdown below the swing low here. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's what he was talking about. But it's the same idea I've been talking to you guys about for a while now, which is, you've got everybody so sure it's going to break down here and head down to 11,000, 7,000, whatever, that how do you cure that? You set it under there, you get all them shorts going, and you just buy them up immediately, send them back underwater immediately, where they have to go and cover them shorts. And all of a sudden, now they've got to go long, so they start chasing price up. That's where you get those strong rallies like this, right? That's where you get that kind of stuff. Because you get caught on the breakdown, immediately you're underwater because price rallies right back up. And then you have to get out of your shorts, cover, and go long. And you got everybody going long now chasing price up. Nobody wants to short. So you've got to chase higher to find where people are willing to exit. So I think that's the most likely case if we break down below the swing low here. But again, if we get a nice big daily close back below this level, that's going to take that idea off. It doesn't necessarily invalidate. You can get a close below and then a big, huge candle back up the next day, close right back above. It's not a bullish SFP, but it still considers that this kind of held this support, right? Because you drop down, close, and the next day open and close back up. So, there's multiple ways around this, but we'll see what happens here. Right now, what do I want to see right now from a higher time frame perspective? I would love to see a close above the daily pivot. I'd love to see a close above the daily pivot for today. If we can get that, I'm feeling pretty bullish. Doesn't mean we have to go up, but it means that's that's a big step that we would get there, right? You wick down below into this cluster of demand here, right? Liquidity pulls you back up. You close back above that major support level. So at the end of today, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's only 3 waves up there now. So what does that mean? So that means that you've got a couple of different. If this is bullish off the bottom here, this means potentially A, B, C is 1 and 2. So you're doing a leading diagonal, right? Or it means 1 and then A, B, C is an expanded flat. Is there any way to really see here? There's the 10-minute. Well, I don't know. There's the 5-minute. What is this? 672.44, 659. So yeah, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Looks like you got maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. On the if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking my first thought is if this is going to be bullish off the low here. Actually. No, it wouldn't be okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking maybe 1 and then A, B, C is 2 here. So we'll want to see a breakout of higher. The other possibility, again, is that this is A, B, and C here. Potentially, so you would get like a 1 and then a B as a triangle maybe, and then a C. And then this is higher here. This second one is higher here, 672. This is only 659. So, this could be A, B, and then 5 down for C. So a flat here, right? You notice we're finding support right here on the EQ of the range. That's this dashed line. Guys, I'm telling you, if you see stuff like this down like this, right? And then all of a sudden you see this doji with this long lower wick here. Man, that's a buy signal. Doesn't guarantee you're going to go up and head out nowhere, but you're looking for higher confidence trades. That's a higher confidence trade right there. And over here you can see we bottomed out in Stochk RSI. So, and if you look at your volume and price action comparisons, it looks like you've got a bit more effort in this and a much less result. So yeah, I mean, and here we go, rallying back up. So yeah, we'll look for that. Locally, if you're on the 50, you want to see a nice impulsive breakout above the 15-minute pivot. If you're trading locally, you can get that, rally on up, man. Look for it. Again, if we're looking at this, say, just to get like a low wave 3 target, for instance, if we're looking at 1, 2 like this, that gives us wave 3 up here at around 21,342, wave 5 at around 21,738.20. And you'll see that kind of takes us just above the swing high here. If this is an ABC up, well then, I like the ABC idea a little bit better here because we get this wave 5 up near the EQ of this blue supply structure. These things are like magnets, guys, if you learn how to do them correctly. Anybody that's in there in Tier 3 with me, Texas West Capital there, they'll tell you, man, these things work like magnets if you ever learn to do them correctly. And so, if I've got it, I always look at that as a possible target, no matter what the count is, because your count can unfold differently as it unfolds, right? It doesn't have to be exactly what you think it's going to be. And so I always leave it open. If I have a notable supply or demand structure and prices going in that direction, I always leave open the possibility that we're going to hit that EQ area on that. Let's see here. Descending triangle on the Bitcoin daily. Let's see here. I wouldn't say, with how much higher up this is here than what we are here, I mean, to me it looks more like it would be as we talk about, the possibility maybe this is 3 and this is wave 4 is a triangle. So A, B, I think we get a C up higher here, and then a D and an E, and then a dip. Yeah. I think much more likely to be a symmetrical triangle in formation here, printing rather than a descending triangle. Since there's such a big discrepancy between this swing low here at 17,567.5 and this one here at 18,131. Crazier things have happened, I guess. But yeah, I mean, while we're sitting there with these, lower highs and higher lows, I tend to think in terms of a symmetrical triangle. So again, that's that possible, bearish count that we've talked about, right, guys? Again, A, B. I don't know. I think this would be A, B, and then we'd have a C up here for C, right? So A, B, C, D, E, and go down. If that were to be a wave 4 triangle, which means just you guys are going to go more nuts because we'd continue to go sideways for another month or two, right? Take us all into next year. I'm tired of the sideways, man. Been doing that since June. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Gushy Greg says, how do midterm elections impact traditional crypto markets? Any thoughts on the historical analysis? Yeah, I think, again, guys, I'm a firm believer in what, 20 years into my life, I found out was actually something coined by Prechter as Socionomic theory, right? And it's the idea that social mood creates social action, not the other way around. So if you were to believe that, which is what people want you to believe, right? Most pundits, everybody out there, they talk about it, right? Here's what's going to happen with the elections, and this is what's going to cause the stock market to do, right? That's the belief that social action leads to social mood, right? That's the idea that that news creates the charts, right? But as anybody's been with me for years now, and we've talked this and we've shown this so many times before, the charts, the news is already in the charts, right? Social mood creates social action, right? So social mood presents itself in the charts. If people are feeling good about the economy, good about things, they're going to put money into the stock market. They're going to take risk on. If they don't feel so good about stuff, they feel concerned about stuff, they're going to take risk off. And so if you're putting money in, creating risk on, then charts go up, right? If you're feeling worried or concerned, if you're a business and you're feeling concerned about what's going on in the economy and you think business is going to slow down or going to keep slowing down or whatever, you're going to stop producing so much, right? You're going to fire people, right? Lay off people. You've got to, right? And you're not going to put as much into the markets, right? So the markets are going to pull back or decline, right? I think, honestly, as traders, if you can really kind of grasp that concept and really wrap your head around it and just have it like, man, be the closest thing to your heart. Apologize to your wives and your husbands, but that becomes the closest thing to your heart, right? If you can do that, I think it really sets you up to have a much easier time as a trader because you aren't drawn around by the news. Price action in news happens all day long, every day, guys. We just tend to associate it when something gets our attention. But, as is shown throughout history, often you can have the same type of news event and the same thing, and the chart will do two different things, right? In one instance, it'll go up, and the same thing, whatever will happen, the next instance will go down. And so all of a sudden, you have your pundits and your news reporters and everybody else going, well, it went the other way this time because blah. Remember, guys, I'm a big proponent in this idea that if something means something, then it means something all the time. This is why I'm not a big fan of correlations. It was like, oh, well, look, it's correlating now. Oh, look, it's decorrelating now. Oh, look, it's correlating now. How can you trade with that nonsense, guys? You can't. That's nothing that helps you as a trader. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. If its correlation were truly a thing, then it would happen at all times. If that correlation ebbs and flows, then it's not a thing, guys. Stop spending so much time and energy and thought processes on worrying about it and thinking about it. You're just going to become confused with the markets. I posted earlier, maybe it was yesterday or something, here on Twitter. I said, guys, listen, you are the problem that you're having with your trading. It's you. And so I've kind of laid out some of those reasons, right? One of those reasons, as I posted on Twitter, was that you make it too complex, right? Trading's not actually all that difficult. It's simple. It's just not easy. And the not easy part that I always talk to you guys about is this here. It's in your head. You are your biggest enemy. You are your worst enemy when it comes to trading. Not crypto whales, not Wall Street, not Sam, not CZ. None of that. Your biggest opponent when you are trading is your own head, okay? So that, everybody says, oh, well, it's easy to be a trader. It's not easy, guys. Trading is simple. It's the idea that you're just moving between areas of liquidity, right? And the directional trend is really just based on social mood, okay? This is simple stuff. But it's not easy to adhere to that thought process. We always want to find other reasons. People come up and say things that we assume, oh man, they've been doing this longer, they're making money, they look rich, they must know what they're talking about. Shoot. You know what? One of my favorite things about Livermore, if you guys ever read any of his books, right? So one of my favorite things about him is how he notes, because he worked in the brokers that are taking the orders, right? And what he noted was the rich people were often losing money consistently. So, don't listen to somebody just because they look like they have money, just because they're putting flashy cars and flashy homes. Guys, I barely show you anything of mine, don't I? Because it shouldn't be a reason why you follow here. You shouldn't care that I've got, a $200,000 car or something like that, right? That shouldn't be the reason, the basis why you listen to things I'm saying. So think about that. Think about most of the social influencers that you guys watch, right, and you pay attention to, and be honest with yourselves that you probably take seriously, right? And then look at and go, okay, why am I listening to them? And then think back and say, oh, well, man, he had that Lambo. Or, oh, man, he had that Ferrari. Or, oh, man, it looks like he has that $4 million house or something, right? That's nothing that's going to help you out, guys. You don't know how they got it. You don't even know if they have it. Guys, there are services out there. You can rent a Lambo, guys. You can rent a Lambo for $900 for a few hours, hour. Drive down the road, take pictures in it. There you go, right? You can rent homes. You can rent yachts. And if you're an influencer that's thinking big, right? You do those things so that everybody thinks that you're where you think you want to be, so that they'll follow you and they'll listen to you. And then they can shill you things, right? They can push you things. I mean, you guys have to take responsibility for the things that you're allowing to happen to you. Don't be a victim, okay, guys? All right. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Exactly, guys, right? Tell Ryder says, I'd say that certainly you can see news in the charts, but trying to trade news is not a good use of my time, and those are the only wicks I ignore. Yeah. Trading news, and by the way, guys, some people try and, sell these systems and whatever about trading news. The one, I said earlier, I've bought so many of these systems over the years, right? Just trying to see, is it really the systems that don't work, or is it the people, right? And I found that really, for most of them, it's the people, right? Except in the news events. In most of the news event systems and things that I've purchased in course of what that I've learned over the years, right? They're not consistent. They don't work consistently. And the reason for that is that news moves so fast, depending on that news event, price can move so fast and so abruptly that you can be in the right direction but get knocked out before it continues in your direction. And it happens so much more. So I usually, I don't trade news events myself. I will stay in a position maybe if I'm already well in profit, but I will not usually initiate a position during a news event. Let it cool off a bit, figure out what's going on, go from there. So yeah. Let me see here. Oh man, just still trying to catch up to y'all here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a cup and handle pattern as a continuation pattern, as a reversal pattern. For me, it's always clearly been a continuation pattern. And so I know there's people out there that push the idea that it's also a reversal pattern. Same people that push the idea that, hey, a head and shoulders is a continuation pattern and a reversal pattern. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, guys. If you're trading patterns, it needs to be something or not. If you have a pattern And well, it may be a continuation pattern or it may be a reversal pattern. Well, guess what, guys? That doesn't help you out any. You see what I'm saying here? So, you know, as far as when I trade, if I see what I think is a cup and handle pattern, to me, it's a continuation pattern. If I see it at some reversal point, I'm not going to consider it a reversal pattern. I'm not going to consider it that pattern. You have to have rules and whatnot in your system, guys. If you're going to trade patterns, don't take patterns that are like it may be or it may not be. How does that help you? That doesn't help you one bit. You either trade the pattern like it is a reversal or trade it like it is a continuation, and that's all you do, or don't use it. Because otherwise you're going to be stuck with analysis paralysis, right? Does that make sense? So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So, you know, again, cup and handle, you know, head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders, stuff like that. As far as what they are there. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Let's see here. You agree 1,000% substance over style? Deadly? That's right. That's right. Let me kind of catch up with you here. Helps to be dead inside, Hank says. Aren't we all? Aren't we all just dead inside? That's why you guys are here, right? You don't get emotional that I don't give you 50 charts in 5 seconds, right? Brian, what's up, man? He says, when spending tanks for December, will that be a catalyst for the DXY to go higher and risk on assets like Bitcoin to drop? Okay, so we've looked at Bitcoin here. And you know, that's a, you know, a decent question there, right? So we'll see if we can get this rally up and out and through here. We did have, by the way, here, just so you guys see, we did have this bullish divergence off the swing low here at the S2 pivot, right? So again, guys, you look for higher confidence trades. You had a bullish divergence in RSI in oversold on support. Man, if you are not longing that, you are not doing it right. That is more often, much more often than not, going to signal that reversal is coming in. Now, does it continue up? Well, you know, that's one thing or another, right? But man, there is no reason you shouldn't have longed that with a target of this range right here around that 15-minute pivot, 1-hour pivot area. I mean, that should have been easy initial target. Should have gone long on that. You could have even thrown a descending resistance here and bought the breakout of that. But this is that higher confidence setup right there. That's what you should be trading, right? Let me see here. So let's jump over here to the dollar. By the way, before we get to the dollar, let's look at this right quick. Merrick, what's going on, man? Let me see here. So, by the way, guys, this is a 50-point. The market right now is saying 56.8% chance of a 50 basis point rate hike in December. 43.2% of a 75. So the market right now thinks it's more likely, and that's statistically significant at 56.8%. That they're going to drop it by 25 basis points in December. Now, we'll see how this continues to play out. This still has a while, you know, for these contracts to get done, right? These are trading futures here on target rate probabilities for at the CME, guys. But traders are, you know, right now banking more along the idea it's 56.8, right? Here's how it's changed. So a week ago, it was 44.5% chance that it was going to be a 50 basis point rate hike. A month ago, it was 63.1, right? And then it dropped down to 44.5 a week ago. Yesterday, it was 52%. Today, we're up 4.8% higher. So we'll see how it continues to go through here. But you know what? For those of you that don't have this here, let me see if I can get that in. There's the link to the Fed tool there, guys, okay? So you can do that there. Let's jump over here to the DXY. Wow, that didn't work. Okay. Let me try that again. And then we'll look here at the other ones here, all right? Let's see here, DXY. Let's pull this up. All right. Let's take everything off here. Big picture right here, right now, okay? Big picture. ABC 1, 2. Well, up over here, 2. ABC 3, 4. Maybe ABC 5 happening out here. Now, usually with the pivots, if you break down through the pivot, you target the S1 pivot area, you rally back up, get rejected the pivot, and continue lower. in this case, if this is ABCs, right? ABC here, and then ABC up here, and then we got an ABC. It seems like we might get a bit of a bounce here, in which case I'd look up here toward this 110.65 area, and then we come down, A, B, C, a little bit lower, right? Probably right down in these wicks here, about 108 or so. And then, that would be 1 is a leading diagonal, 2 back up, right again, probably to this 110, 60, 70 area, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3 down. But this right here, with this being 1, 2, 3 waves down, this is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're working on a 5th wave down. Now, a 5th wave down off the top there does not guarantee that the top is in. But what it does say is we've got 5 down, so when the 5th wave finishes, we should get 3 waves up and then 5 more down. The idea is that this first 5 waves is minimally going to be an A. You go 3 waves up for a B, it has to terminate prior to the swing high, right? And then 5 more waves down for wave C. That's minimum. In this case, because we rallied up for 2 years there or whatever, almost, I think there's a much greater expectation that these first 5 waves down are a leading diagonal or wave 1. So we'll get a 3-wave rally for wave 2, 5 for 3, 3 for 4, 5 more for 5, and that'll get us 1 or A off that swing high. I think the odds are much more likely. Now, the other thing I talked about was, remember, guys, those of you that were with me, I know Hank was with me. I'm not sure how many of the rest of y'all were with me. I think Deadly might have been. GT may have been. But remember when we were down here and everybody was talking about I had to go further. And I said, okay. And it was right around, right? This first area here, right? And I said, the DSI, right? The indicator I gave you the link to the other week that you have to pay for, right? That takes the retail trader sentiment, their bullishness or bearishness, right? It was on a scale of 100, it was at 92 or 94 bearish. And at the time, I said, listen, when the market is that strongly off sides, it usually denotes a reversal is coming. And then I pointed out that usually we get monetary reversals, the dollar reversals, right? Usually around the end of the year, beginning of the next year. So usually, coming into the end of the year or January, right? And that's what we got here, right? And we rallied back up. Now this right here. Now I've looked at targets along the way, but you guys might remember back here I said, well, my initial target is this EQ area up here, right? Around this 114, 115 area. And I said there are possibilities along the way that we're places where we could get stopped along the way, but this, if we continued up there, this is the target, right? And so that's where we got. So for me, from back here, it's hit my target up here. So I think there's a good chance that it's topped out and we're heading down, right? So if that's the case, anything that's happening maybe... Oh, Deadly, you said you were there, you remember well? Yeah. Where were we at? Who was that was asking that? Brian, right? So you said when spending tanks for December, will that be a catalyst for the DXY to go higher and risk on assets like BTC to drop? So my thought is, if that's going to happen... I don't know that it necessarily happens in December. I think it happens sooner here, but it's just for a pullback before further downside. Now, it's always possible that maybe there's some other kind of count coming out of this. But right now, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a 5th wave coming down. I mean, that you can see it pretty clearly here. Now, if this becomes 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's still to be seen, right? But the other big thing we have here is we rallied up toward the R5 pivot. We came inside. Remember I talked to you about the bullishness of pivots? And we always talk about how we come in sideways between the pivot and the R1. And if we don't actually hit the pivot here, right? So all we do is come down a bit here. And then we rally up through the R1. Usually it's a very bullish event. And when that happens, it usually means you're going to rally up into the R5 pivot area. Well, that's what we did. So again, based on, my experience with pivots and price action, over the last 25 plus years, this is expected, and this is quite potentially the top. The other way to look at it is, if you're looking at pivots, guys, as long as you're below that daily pivot, you should not be bullish, period. Now, once you get above that daily pivot, maybe you look at this resistance here, and then let's say you get above the daily pivot, then you can be cautiously bullish. But then you need to see an impulsive breakout above this descending resistance to really start feeling, like I said, cautiously bullish, to really start feeling like maybe there's a reason to be bullish, but you still have to break out that top. And you know what? If this is 5 down, you could do 3 up, right all the way up here, all the way up to 114.63, whatever, and it's still just a 1, 2, or A, B, before you're going to go down further. As long as it's only 5 waves, you should be a 3-wave correction and another 5 waves lower at least. By the way, if this is a leading diagonal, which again it looks like, right? 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, working on 3 waves down, right? Overlap price action. Even if this is only A, right? Even if this is just an ABC before it breaks up higher, right? Even if this is only A, because it's overlapping, because it's the leading diagonal, that means when it does C, those 5 waves are not going to overlap. So they're going to hit their regular extensions at least usually. So have your, you'll go up with 3 waves. So you get A, you got B, and then you'll have wave 1, wave 2, and then 1.618 or lower for wave 3, and then 4, and then, from there another 61.8 or lower for wave 5. You can't have overlapping wave A and overlapping wave C. Can't have a leading diagonal and an ending diagonal. You have to have one or the other. So because this would be potentially a diagonal here. Now, then the other possibility, I think it's probably the best way to look at this right now, because zooming out here to the daily, it's a pretty clear 3, pretty clear 3, pretty clear 3, pretty clear 3, working on what would be a 3. I was going to say, well, maybe you have like a 1, and then this is some kind of expanded flat for a 2, and then this is a 1, 2 of wave 3, right? So you get a 1, 2, you get a 3, 4, you'll get a 5 to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think so. This looks like a leading diagonal. On the daily, we're pretty close to dipping down into oversold on Stochc RSI. RSI still has some room though. Weekly, we've got a lot of room up here. We're just now getting this area of support and resistance previously. Did you look here? On RSI, but Stochc RSI is oversold here. Again, pretty clear here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, those are my reasonings there, guys, right? You don't have to buy into any of it. You don't have to believe any of it. But here's what I'm going to say. As long as you're below that daily pivot, there's no reason to be bullish. As in new all-time high. Once you get through that, look for your breakout through the, you want an impulsive breakout above the descending resistance. And then you still need to break out above the swing high. Those are your three areas that you'll watch. All right. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Man, you guys chatty Cathy's here, right? Booty, what's up, man? Hasta la vista, Barbie. Good to see you checking in. Let me see here. Fiboswani says, love overlaying my fib. I can't even say fib. Fib theory with your counts works really well together to verify. Let me see here. Andrew Bennett says a 1 hour engulfing on Bitcoin, so we can drop back over, and then we'll look at some more charts again. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, that's really ugly all of a sudden, right? But this is what happens with trading, right, guys? This is part of trading. Now, so what happens here? So you get the big move up, and then it comes back down, and everybody gets scared, and they get out, right? And then you got guys here getting ready to go short, and then all of a sudden it takes that off again. I mean, that's always a possibility. We've rallied up pretty good here on the 1 hour. We would need to see it happen. Again, this, if we zoom in at 15-minute, right? Remember, we talked about the possibility maybe this is an ABC up as wave 1 of a leading diagonal, right? Well, it's a pretty deep 2, but could still be, right? Obviously, if you break down below that swing low, that's going to invalidate, right? And then we're still going to look at those levels we talked about. But, you know, if this were to, again, looks like ABC right here. So if we can rally up and break out above 19,972.10, you see right there, that's support resistance right there. I think it's probably that's your first real indication to kind of go long on that, kind of to break out there. And again, the idea would be that if that's 1, 2, three right here around 21,662 now, and then 22,213. That'll rally you up through the R5 pivot. Again, kind of takes you above that swing high there. Is that going to happen? I don't know. You got to, this is where it comes, guys. This is where I want to remind you that none of us out here have crystal balls, right? So we don't know for sure what's going to happen with that, right? But that's why we look for our validation and our invalidation levels, right? We know that if this breaks down below the swing low here, well, that counts off. We know that if we go from here and break out above that swing high right there, well, that increases the odds that we're going to break out higher here. You see what I'm saying, guys? So when you're trading, again, as I continue to hopefully get through to you guys, it's not about guarantees. It's not about 100%, it's anything like that. It's about, listen, I need to have my validation and my invalidation levels. And as it goes through my validation levels, it becomes more likely that I'm correct. If it goes through my invalidation levels, though, it becomes more likely that I'm incorrect. And in that way, you become more like water, right? More fluid, which is absolutely what you have to do, right? Let's jump over here. We're hearing that FTT is collapsing pretty hard here, right? Where is my FTT chart? Well, isn't that something? All right. See if I can find it here real quick. Maybe you should spread the rumor that the IMF is buying Binance. That's funny stuff right there. I did not do anything. Let me try and make a different one here. Yeah, so right now, as you can see, crypto's having an issue, but you see it's not related to overall risk on or risk off, because you saw that the DXY is still dropping, right? Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, it's still that. So this is just crypto related, right? And I point that out. Oh, that's Binance. Let me see if I can find, we'll just keep it on the FTX one here, right? Yeah, see, this is all crypto here, right? This is all crypto. Now, again, here on the 1 hour, we've hit the S5 pivot. So normally when we get to this area, I'm looking for some kind of bounce, some sort of reversal, right? Sent us through on the S5. We still went even further, right? Capitulation, right? The question is, how hard does it rally off this? And with such a strong move down, it may not. I mean, now, you want to watch how this daily candle closes, guys. You want to see, does this candle kind of close up here, leave a long lower wick? If it does, the odds are it'll still pull back about halfway down that wick, maybe 61.8%, something like that, right? And that's what I would be looking for if it starts pulling back there. That's the kind of pullback I want to see and reverse off that I would be looking for it to rally up higher there. That makes sense? 18.5 Bitcoin bounce. Oh, it's got to break down below a whole bunch of stuff before it gets to 18.5, right? So we're in the breakdown here, but, we're only, I don't know, where's 18.5? Oh, it's not, okay, yeah. I was thinking 17.5. Yeah, quite possibly, again. So this is one thing that we talked about before is you want to see, with this good breakout that we had here, if we're going to come back and retest this, you absolutely want to see this hold, right? Absolutely want to see this hold, okay? If you don't see that, then it means that, yeah, we're probably, I think, going to break down lower off that, right? If this can't hold here and we're breaking down through this and closing below that, right? That's a pretty good clue. We're probably going to continue on down below the swing low here, which means we're most likely continuing below the swing low here. Now, nothing's guaranteed, obviously, but yeah, quite possibly, right? That is an ugly looking 4-hour candle here. We still have an hour 52 left, though. So we'll see how the 4-hour candle finishes here. So if I look at this now, we're coming up on the 78.6 here. I can see maybe a 1, 2. Yeah, I can maybe see like wave A ending here, and then wave B coming up here, and then wave C being here. Again, the idea you're going to trap all them late shorts there, right? So yeah, I mean, I could see something like this. So we go A, we go B. We've got like this huge like flat correction here. Or even potentially A down here with B up here, right? Usually wave B terminates around the pivot. So, I mean, again, we saw it was potentially here. Now we're looking potentially here. It makes sense. We'll see how many people get caught over here, right? Everybody, that the big move up comes back down. Everybody shorts on the breakout there, and then it goes back up. So we'll see here, right? Merrick says it just hit the demand zone on the June lows. Is that... Actually, we can look right here. I can do you one better there, man. The demand in this wick right here. That's where we've hit right now. So yeah. So yeah, you know, again, we want to see how does this develop. Now, if you were with us at TWC, right? I had the count I had on there, right? But I said we needed to break out above what I had as wave B, which was this swing high here. I said until, you know, that's where we need to break out above to get added confidence to the idea that the count is correct, right? We never got that. So again, you know, it becomes those validation levels. That's my validation level. That's where I'm looking. If I can get above that, the odds increase much more significantly that the count is correct. If we can't get that, then as I told them, we look lower. We look at 70.5. We look at 78.6. See, so this is how we do it, or how I do it there at TWC, guys. I'll say, here's what the count looks like. Here's where we kind of need to break out to add confidence to that, right? As long as we're not breaking out above that, then we're still likely to head lower. And in that case, we look at whatever those lower targets out. Again, on this case, it is the 70.5. And now the 78.6, which is where we're nearing right here. We're still strongly up here on the Stoke RSI. Let me see. I wonder if we can zoom in a bit and get a little bit better clarification on this decline here. I mean, if I'm looking at this, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. That could probably be wave A there. And then we get that 3 up for wave B. Remember how I said, well, it's only 3 waves up? I said if it's going to be bullish, it has to be, you know, 1 with a flat or ABC, right? But definitely dropping down below here gave us the invalidation. I mean, that's what we got, right? This coming down, this only looks like ABC on that drop right there. Yeah, see, even drop down. I don't like the way that looks. It looks like it wants to go lower. Overall, it doesn't mean it can't bounce, but that's only 3 down. You should see, I mean, you zoom in the 5-minute, we should see white candles like this somewhere. Instead, we just have this little thing. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? So maybe 1, 2, 3, we'll get a 4, and maybe we'll get a 5 just a little bit lower, maybe. Hit that 78.6 area here. Maybe that support. Rally back up. That's what we want to see now. Yeah. Yeah, because if I'm counting this, I'm going 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 here. But that would give us a short 3. That shouldn't be 1618. Yeah, see, it's just barely bigger. Which means, wave 5 could be bigger or shorter than wave 3. Yeah, FTT is I believe they're still in the process of the buyout for Voyager, which it all gets really interesting, right? Yeah. So, again, as I'm looking at this, I'm zoomed in on the 5-minute. It looks like 3 waves down here. Because we're breaking down below the swing low, we should be looking for 5. 15-minute has a little bit further to go here. But see, this is where people get chopped up, right? So you'll get in here, and it's a rally up here, and you let it drop back down and knock you out, right? Just go ahead and take that. If you got a quick rally back up, go ahead and take it. Look for another entry. Just lock in that profit, right? Especially if it's only in 3 waves. By the way, guys, anytime that you're trading, if you're going against the trend and you're only going 3 waves, so the trend is down here, this is only 3 waves up, and you break back down below that, assume it is corrective until you can get a breakout higher. Okay? So yeah. Let me see here. So yeah, so that's it there. Let me go ahead and jump on the other charts while I've got you guys here. We're having fun watching what's going on with Bitcoin, right? Let me see here. NASDAQ Composite. Oh yeah, NASDAQ Composite. Rallying up. Yeah, rallying well. Nice breakout above the 4-hour pivot here. Again, trend is down. We're only 3 waves right now. So consider it suspect until you get 5 waves up. Okay, guys? Does that make sense? But right now we're definitely in 3 here. If the count's correct. 5 has a target of the R1 pivot right around the wave 2 swing high here, which is this other previous area of support and resistance. 10,984.5 makes a lot of sense, right? So here's the thing, guys. A lot of you guys, all you are is you're in crypto, right? Because crypto's got you excited because you think, and let's be honest, you're thinking, man, oh man, I can become a millionaire pretty quickly here, right? The problem with that, though, is you might be more emotionally tied to a direction, right? For crypto, because that, let's say, most people are going to come in there and be more emotionally bullish, right? On Bitcoin and whatever, right? The idea of thinking, man, I can put $100 in here and it becomes $1 million in the next 3 months, right? Whatever. But if you really learn to trade, you can take those skills to stocks, or you can take them to futures, or you can take them to FX, right? To Forex, right? And you can have a lot easier trade. Right now, if you're trying to be bullish on Bitcoin, it's kind of hard, right? Locally, right? Here, pretty easy to be bullish locally here up through this R1 pivot, right? Watch this. Remember we were talking about the Dow? So this was the tech-heavy NASDAQ, right? Look at the Dow. Continues to push on up there. You could have gone long at the open. You'd be easy money, right? Easy money. Broken out above what may be wave 1. While you're above this 4-hour pivot, you should continue to remain bullish, right? You could see a pullback toward it, but as long as you're staying above that. Now, once you break down below this way too, well, then that invalidates, right? In that case, maybe you've got an A and a B, and you have a flat coming down here toward that daily pivot, right? But, let me see here. FX is what I was talking about, right? Look at the euro. Yeah, the Dow continues to look bullish. Yeah, on those larger time frames as well. Look at how easy this long euro trade was this morning, right? You could have just bought the break out of the resistance here. Look at this resistance. Go left on it. Look at it. It's just this area resistance. Resistance, support, resistance. That's all you're looking at there. Easy money, right? Right up to the daily R1 pivot so far. You could have just jumped in the Aussie, right? There we go. Wait, what the heck am I doing here? Ah, that's what I'm doing. I keep putting that S in there. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I kept putting an S over there. Because I was thinking Aussie. Look at this Aussie. Even easier. Look at this. Consolidating higher lows toward resistance here. Barrier triangle kind of thing going on here, right? You could easily about the breakout there with the target of the R1. Made you money quick, fast, in a hurry, been out, instead of potentially losing money trying to long Bitcoin right now, right? Definitely a better market structure here. You guys have to, be aware that you can use these skills as traders. If you've got those skills, right, you can take them to other markets and find easier opportunities. You shouldn't be trading things just because you want to trade them, because you feel like you have to trade them, even, unless they're easy trades, guys. Stop taking a trade just because there's a chance. Look for your higher confidence trades, your easy trades. You're going to be so much further ahead at the long run if you do. Most of y'all probably aren't paying attention to what I just said there. Probably in your head just arguing with me. Whatever. I'm telling you guys. Pay attention to that, okay? Gold and silver. Let's look at oil real quick. Oil getting a bit of a pullback here. Looking for a potential breakdown further toward the daily pivot for wave B and then wave C up. Also keeping an idea of this. Now this is the idea that the top is in, right? But I am keeping my thoughts open to the idea that maybe oil prints a new all-time high. I've got an AlphaTrader account that I'm watching if we continue to break out higher, right? And my idea behind that is because if the dollar's topped, well, then, we should see risk on coming back into the markets, which means you should have a higher demand for oil. God, I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. Because remember, oil isn't just the gasoline and the fuel and whatever to get things around, right? It's also all those plastics products, right? That's made from oil. So, for right now, watching this as an ABC, see heading up right around $100, maybe, initially anyway. But with the idea that, watching how this develops on the way up and watching how the dollar continues to develop on the way down and seeing if there's an increasing likelihood that oil continues higher, which would make the current high maybe wave 4 is what I'd probably see it as. Okay? We may just get a 3AC version 2, but much bigger. Be crazy, right? This is crazy stuff, man. But again, this is why it's important, guys, to take profits along the way. Do you want to be right or do you want to be profitable? That's what we always come down to, right? The good news is if crypto crashes, you guys still can trade currency markets, man. So much to be traded in currency. And I keep pushing that because I love Forex, man. Again, you guys have been following me for a while. That's my favorite. But even, futures and stock market and whatnot. I mean, you still trade the hell out of that. Don't have to trade crypto. One of the things I can say that I'm most fortunate about with our members is that when we first started out, everybody was just almost all just straight up crypto. And over the years, as we continue to develop there, people have more and more started testing the other markets, getting in there, trying out some stocks, trying out futures, trying out, precious metals, trying out oil and gas, trying out, FX. And some of them are finding they actually prefer these other markets more. Now, my idea wasn't there to get them to prefer one more than the other, but it was just to open up their minds and say, hey, listen, you can take these skills. You don't have to be so beholden on whether crypto is going to die or it's going to be great. You can make a ton of money trading the other markets as well. Okay, guys? Let's look here at silver. Oh, God, I can't even pull this up. Come on. There we go. Now, again, with silver, silver and gold, I told you guys, I have those much lower targets, but I've given you multiple times the idea that maybe, just maybe, right, that we could go higher with them, right? And that's what we're watching. So right now we had this count which said, okay, maybe a wave 2 here. Well, guess what? Broken out above that. So this is not, as we have it labeled in there, right? I'll pull this back here a bit, right? So here's silver. Now, in the grand scheme of things, all silver's really done is pull back to this high volume node area, right? Which is just its previous area of resistance, right? Now, this does not mean it's bottomed out, but it means that we should be paying attention. If we look at this, let's see here. See, leading diagonals, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? And right here just looks like 3. You want this to be 5, but it's not. It's 3. But, again, trying to figure out what the count may be off the top here, right? So right now, again, I've got that as a B. So we've got an A, B, C, right? So this gives us A, B, looking for C. And that's how I get that sub 10 target, right? But just because it's there doesn't mean that's the way it has to play out, right? And so, as I've been talking with our members, this is confusing here. Trying to figure out what is going on here, right? Again, this looks like pretty clear 3 down here. So you get you get like an A with a triangle for B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So ABC there, but then you get this ABC down. That means this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a wave C, right? Again, we're looking at a expanded flat, right? So we got A, 3 up for A, 3 down for B. And then the idea here is we've got 1, 2, 3 peaks, higher lows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this would be like ABC is 1, 2, ABC is 3, 4, and then however this count's going to be, maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's 1, 2, working on 3, 4, we get a 5 up here, right? You're bullish on silver if we go to and hold above 22. What do you mean by bullish on? You mean bullish to a new all-time high? Because remember, that all-time high is all the way over here at almost $31, right? $30.35, right? And I see why you would say 22, because that gets you here kind of around this area, right? But I would suggest that you at least look at the swing high a bit higher here. The swing higher is 22. And maybe you meant that. Maybe you're just saying 22 is just a round number. But this swing high, 22,565. I would, the most bullish thing that could happen to silver would be a breakout and close above that. A nice impulsive breakout above that and close. That would be the bullish thing that could happen there. Oh, you're bullish on short term because you're a scalper. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, you've got a range here. And again, with this coming down, the fact that this is 3 waves down, this is 3 up, this is 3 down, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an ending diagonal, it looks like. I mean, that's what it looks like we've got here. So I'm looking, if that's going to be the case, we should get a rejection in this area here. Okay? So we're going to look for that. And if we do, well, guess what, guys? We're coming, a bit lower here. We're going to break down below that high volume node. Right here. Right? And we'll still watch this 16.5, but if we lose that 16.5, we're open. We're open for a bit further, right? I mean, look at all that volume comes in right here. Kind of do this. See, all that volume's right there, right? We drop that, we're like 14.7 or so, right? We lose that. Look at all this here. Nothing till we get down to about $7.10.5, which, as you can see, it's this previous area resistance right here, right? So yeah, I mean, you know, again, if you look here, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slightly higher high, right? And so again, the idea here is here's an A, here's a B, and then we get a C down lower. Now, you know, if that is, I don't know, what is this right here? Oh, I can't get that. I mean, so that's almost the 70.5 retracement right there. I mean, that would be a solid wave too, right? That's the institutional level. Makes a lot of sense, right there around 7.655, right? So yeah. So I mean, you know, and if you lose that, I mean, you're looking here at $5.16, the next high volume node there on the weekly, right? Look at the weekly here. Look at, we're overbought here on the Stochc RSI. What else we got going down here? Try to see if we've been. Now we had a quick rally here off oversold. We've been like, I'm looking to find where we've been, maybe you know, up here and overbought at the lows there. Try to see if we've got anything we can look at similarly here in the past. They're always at the lows. See, every time we're looking at the lows, they're at the lows. Even here, at the lows, right? So that's kind of interesting. Oh, wait. What do we got here? Nah, that was still the lows. That was still the lows that we rallied up with the move up. So, yeah, I mean, if this were to rally off here, it looks like the first time we're kind of rallying off, you know, a high Stochc RSI, maybe even overbought kind of area of RSI there. We are clearly at that swing low there. We're not oversold like every time else, right? So very, very interesting on that. So yeah, you know, what I'm looking at here with this 3 up and 3 down is the possibility that we're getting 5 up here on that. And so here on the hourly, now, you get it. This is not bearish divergence here, right? Because you're here to here, which is bearish divergence right there, and you get your reaction. So you got to look from this point to this point, guys. And that's just a higher, it's just, there's no divergence there, right? The divergence is back here. So don't go like this and skip over this. That's a significant high. It's a new higher high after a pullback. There's your bearish divergence. And you got your result there, okay? Let's see here. Now the 4-hour looks like it's got some juice. The 4-hour looks like it could continue up higher for a bit, right? It's just now crossing bullishly there on the Stochc RSI. But your daily is almost is topped out now. Stochc RSI is breaking out into overbought as we run into all this resistance right here. So that 4-hour could get thumped. Everything else is saying it needs to come down, right? So again, we break down here, just continues that move down forward, you know, further down toward those 14s, upper 14s at least, just to begin with anyway, right? Let's see here. Ooh, yeah, we keep on breaking down there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, maybe 5. Where are we at here? Did we make a new low? No? We're 90% though. So 90%. Usually if you're hitting 90%, that's a good indication price is going to continue down and breaking down into a new low. Okay? Not guaranteed. Often it is. What you want to see is you want to see a close. This is the hourly here, right? We've got another 29 minutes. You want to see it close above this support. This resistance as support, okay? It just wicks down below. You want to see it close up. And you've got to take out this wave B swing high. So basically, you got to break out above that hourly pivot. Does that make sense? If you're not, if you're getting a close below here, again, I think it suggests, most likely that we're going below the swing low here, which will invalidate the 1-2. And going below this swing low, I think, will most likely mean that we're going below this swing low over here. Same thing I've been talking about, guys, since we had that swing low right there. Now, if we get a lot of this sell pressure coming in here, like on the 12-hour, we still got another 5.5 hours left on this, right? And volume's coming up in there. So in terms of this range, right, if we get this continued sell pressure here and it prints a higher low, that's a bullish event. But again, you really want to see, does this hold here as support, which it is so far, right? Everything's dumping. Well, let's see what's going on with the dollar then. Where is it? Yeah. I don't know. You guys say things are dumping. You guys tend to be drama queens. No offense. Let me see if I can find one of those charts we were just looking at with the Dow's pulling back a little bit. NASDAQ composite. I mean, NASDAQ composite hit the daily pivot. Now, again, remember, we're only 3 up right here. You want to get 5 up, right? So, I mean, I don't see anything necessarily dumping. I mean, NASDAQ composite's down, what is that, 32 points or so? Oh, everybody's on the 15-minute panicking? I mean, but you're going to expect this pullback here because overall, you've got the dollar here bouncing. So Swiboswani will tell you, I can't even say his name there. Got to change it, man. You got to do something different with that. We kind of discussed real quick there on Discord about what this area here, you're looking at potentially further down or not. And I said, well, usually what happens is when you drop through that pivot, you find support around the S1, you rally back up to the pivot, get rejected, and continue down further. So, again, not unexpected here, right? But this does appear to be, 5 waves down here, which would suggest, a bounce, but then further downside. Just Fibbo is fine? Okay. So yeah, guys, again, shouldn't be unexpected. But I think a lot of times what people do is, crypto's dropping, like this and this stuff's going on. And, oh my God, now, stocks are dropping. But, it's not that. Remember, crypto, I showed you earlier, the dollar was dropping and crypto was dropping and stocks were going up, right? And it's just the idea that what's going on with crypto is crypto right now. Now, if the dollar kind of rallies up a bit, that's going to add downward pressure on crypto prices. But, overall, what's going on overnight into this morning with crypto, especially this morning, is crypto. It's not risk on, risk off general market sentiment, right? It's just crypto. It's just you got the idiots over there doing idiot stuff, right? This is a nice little rally off here for sure. Definitely want to see that breakout above basically a 15-minute pivot, hourly pivot right there. You want to see a nice breakout above that, right? So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, guys, man, it is getting late here, so I got to go. I got work to do. Man, oh, man, I do appreciate you guys being in here and giving me your thoughts and asking questions, all that great fun stuff. Let me see here. Right here, is this at the EQ? Let's find out. Oh, look at that. Whoops. Well, yeah, right there at the EQ. That's where it's grabbed its liquidity. Which, again, as I told you, often magnets, right? So, we just got to see that it, that it continues up. I mean, that's all there is to it at this point, guys. Now, if you want to jump on a smaller time frame there, maybe try to get in some a little early, I mean, your 15-minute maybe has bullish divergence here. Yep, it's got bullish divergence, dipping into oversold on Stochc RSI. Let's see here, 309.91, 274. Larger effort, less result here, so signals that we should get some quarter bounce at least, maybe. But man, even looking at this, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Here on the 10-minute. I'm not sure we get more than a bounce at the moment, guys. We might need to swing into, oh man, what if we swung into a new low? That's just the 618, guys. I think this is just a bounce. Let me see here. We've hit the 38.2 on that retracement, a little bit higher there. 19,170 is the 50, but I think we're probably there or close. If we are, if that's a fourth wave, fifth wave down here at 18,039. Guess what, guys? We might just swipe the lows here. 18,039. So now I'm interested to see this because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then that wouldn't be an ABC. This would have to be 5 down. Let me see here real quick. I know I said I was going to go. Let me see here real quick. You guys got me all into this. Yeah, so if that's just a 4 there, look for rejection. This takes us to the S4 here. That would get us within this range area here. That would get us, you know, just a dip below, sweep these lows here. But I'm not so sure, man. Again, I think if we get that, I think there's a good possibility we might get this. Now, here's the thing. On your hourly pivots, that S5 is just right there at 17,342. So, I mean, you know, I think a lot of people are waiting to short here and here at the June low. So, again, you know, it makes a lot of sense to potentially get some sort of capture them in that area and take it back up, right? You know, we are pretty low here on RSI still, even on the 1 hour, but that 1 hour Stochc RSI is still way the heck up here. Signal that there could be, you know, more downside, which would kind of align with what we're looking at there. See, if we get down the 5-minute, the 5-minute is the thing. The 5-minute says, well, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, right? So maybe we're done at that EQ, right? So if we break lower, I'm probably looking down here toward that 18,039. I want to see if we get a fifth wave there. But if we continue to rally up through here, that suggests maybe we do have 5 waves done here. This ABC is complete. It's just a deep pullback. And, you know, you kind of get the same effect, right? You get everybody that panicked, right? You saw this going up here, got everybody excited as bulls, right? Wiped them out, came in down here, get all the bears excited, wipe them back out, head back up, right? You're clearing liquidity topside and using liquidity at the bottom to then rally you back up, right? So, I mean, you know, this makes a perfect, it makes perfect sense where it's at. The target is great. I don't like the 1 hour Stochc RSI, but the 1 hour RSI looks okay. 4 hour, we are well oversold. And we still got an hour and 20 minutes left in that candle. Hank's favorite 12 hour. Still got, again, 5 hours and 20 minutes on there, dipping down into oversold. But, you know, obviously if we rally up through here, unless we're pulling back at some point in the next 5 hours, it won't close in oversold. The daily, though, almost oversold Stochc RSI, almost oversold RSI. So, yeah, I mean, here's kind of where we sit here. How does the daily end, right? So one more time here, guys. Man, I got to go. So right here, because we dropped through that pivot and we came down here to the S1 pivot, we want to see it find support. And then we want to see an impulsive breakout above the pivot. With this setup here, when you're doing pivots, it's a multi-step process. The first one, you want to see it hold this support here. Second one is impulsive breakout above the pivot. Third one is follow through on the breakout above the swing higher. If you can do that, I think we're all but guaranteed at least 24 or 25 here, but more likely 29.30 if we can get the 3-step done there. As far as that goes, the higher this closes today, heaven forbid it, man, if this thing closes above the pivot, I mean, I think that's about as good a long signal as you can get. That doesn't mean it can't possibly pull back halfway into the wick or so, right around this area, 18,725 or something, before rallying and breaking out higher. But I think that long a wick, that's pivot holding a support ultimately, because you close above it, I think that's a pretty good reason to go long. But you absolutely, stop loss has got to be right below the swing low here. There's no reason to put it anywhere else. Absolutely none. All right. All right, guys. Hank says FTT is the sword above the market if FTX and or Alameda falls before Binance, DD, and takeover. Well, we'll see what happens. All right. If you guys want to get out of all this nonsense, go and join the Forex market. You just got a bunch of big banks running that, basically. So, but at least it's a bit more structured, though it does have its moments, right? All right, guys. As always, man, you guys, I love you guys here. You made money on the stream with the Euro USD Telluride. Love it, man. Yeah, and so, Telluride, I got your message there, man. I'll respond to you here in a bit, okay? So I want to let you know I got to see it over there. But anyway, guys, yeah, so as always, remember the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So please keep working on that risk management. Man, we are getting ready to launch our coaching. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm actually going to teach for the first time ever my system that I use to trade daily. As well as help our people who are in the coaching program get over all that emotional and psychological stuff that they constantly deal with so that they can not sabotage themselves when they're trading. I've also got a few other things I add in there, but those are going to be a surprise when I talk about them with partnerships with people that I'm with. So anyway, great stuff. Hopefully you guys will be interested in that. If you are, again, guys, just send me a DM. Send me an email, christopher.inks@texaswestcapital.com. I know how many of y'all actually email, right? But just let me know you're interested. I'm not like holding you that you have to join or anything. But that way I can send out that information as we solidify and get it down. And you can make your decision if you want there with that. All right? I appreciate you guys jumping in. I will be back Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hope to see y'all here. And you know what? Who knows? A little bit of luck. Maybe Bitcoin at that point will be like up here or something or there, right? I think we'd all be kind of happy with that. All right, guys. Y'all have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing y'all then. Take care.